Yesterday, we told a pastime of Srila Prabhupada, and I thought, why not tell another one? Or why not tell many of them? And this pastime is interesting because it shows a certain quality of Prabhupada in how he penetrates and how he teaches his disciples. Who does he penetrate towards? He penetrates in the heart of the person to reveal to the person themselves what's wrong with them. And he shows in doing that his disciples how to deal with people. I want to tell a story about Srila Prabhupada, which will help us understand something more about Prabhupada's character and insight and appreciate him. And in telling this story, I just want to say that it's a story about how Prabhupada dealt with a man, and the way he was dealing with the man was not only for the benefit of the man, but was for the benefit of us to understand a principle and also understand perhaps how to deal with similar situations. So this man had come, he was a Hindu professor, and the devotees would bring professors, philosophers, educators, politicians, important people. Prabhupada wanted to talk to them. He really liked to talk to them. He wanted to influence the people that had influence. He wanted to influence the influencers. Yes. So this professor of Hinduism, Prabhupada asked a very simple question: can you tell me what is Hinduism? Knowing that the professor would probably say something that Prabhupada would need to correct. So for his edification and for his presentation and mercy to his students, Prabhupada wanted to help him. And the man said, that's a very difficult question to answer, which is kind of maybe strange for a professor of Hinduism to say that. Could you imagine, a mathematics professor? So, can you tell us something about mathematics? Well, that's a difficult question to answer. Could you tell us something about the topic you teach in this class? Well, that's difficult to answer. So immediately Prabhupada responded, said, you are a professor of Hinduism? And you cannot tell us what is Hinduism? Like, that's not right. Something is wrong with this picture. So Prabhupada was playing with the man. So Swarup Damodar Manaraj was there, and Swarup Damodar Manaraj was heading up the Bhaktivedanta Institute. And so he was dealing with a lot of academics and scholars and so forth who were putting forward theories that were not correct in the name of this is the truth, this is the way it is. And Prabhupada saw that as cheating. If you don't know, or if it's a theory, just say, I don't know. I think it could be this way, or my theory is this. But don't say, this is true, if it's not, if you don't have proof. That was Prabhupada's mood. So Prabhupada turned to Swarup Damodar Manaraj and said, Swarup Damodar Manaraj, he is a professor of Hinduism, but he does not know what is Hinduism. What is that called? Or Prabhupada said, what is he? And Swarup Damodar said, Prabhupada, he is a cheater. Prabhupada knew he was going to say that. Where is Prabhupada going with this? This person's your guest, and now you're calling him a cheater. I think Prabhupada understood that the man ultimately would be able to take it. And then Prabhupada turned to the man and said, he has called you a cheater. What do you have to say for yourself? Prabhupada wanted to arouse a discussion, but he wanted to make the point to the man that how can you teach something and you don't know what it is? That's cheating. You're being dishonest towards your students. And he wanted to show the devotees that this is dishonesty. And this is what we're fighting against. Academia, the scientific community, who's propounding ideas for which they may not have proof or definitive proof as absolutes, as truth. And their poor students have to eat it and digest it, and certainly get indigestion from it. So now I have to end this with another story. So this takes place in San Francisco, and this was at the time of Rath Yatra, and this must have been 1974 or 1975. So Prabhupada is giving Bhagavatam class, and in the class he was telling us about his experience from the evening before, and he was speaking to a scientist. And the scientist couldn't understand something Prabhupada was saying. And Prabhupada said, the reason you can't understand this, the scientist was an atheist. He said, the reason you can't understand this is because you're a demon. I'm like, what kind of thing to tell somebody, right? And the same thing with his professor. What is he? So Prabhupada didn't say he was a cheater. He had his disciples say it. Oh, I never called you a cheater. He called you a cheater. But in this case, Prabhupada said, you can't understand because you're a demon, a rascal, a rogue. And then Prabhupada laughed, and Prabhupada said, and he accepted. Like he knew he was. He knew he was a rascal. And I think Prabhupada must have known when he said that the man would admit it. But here's the point. After Prabhupada told us, he said, I can do that. And he said, but you cannot do that. So we have to be careful. Well, maybe now we could do more. And then Prabhupada said, the prerogative of an old man is they can say anything. The prerogative of a young child is they can say anything. And of course, Prabhupada at this point was older than everyone, or most everyone he spoke to, and he was the Acharya, founder of the Hare Krishna movement. And he's Prabhupada. So he could get away with a little more than what we could get away with. But so Prabhupada just warned us, don't think because I did that, it's okay for you to do that. I can get away with it. I'm an old man. And the man did accept, but we just can't go around calling people cheaters and demons and rascals. But maybe there may be context appropriate where by doing that will be necessary to reveal to the audience the foolishness of this person, or we see that it will actually help the person. They need to be shaken up a little bit. And so I just wanted to relate these two stories. I think you would find them interesting, edifying, and also transcendently entertaining. Hare Krishna.